Dr. Roarke wasn't the first to hear it, but he was the first to listen. While investigating undocumented symbols deep within the whispering vaults, a series of natural basalt caverns, Roarke became fixated on a repeat symbol etched into the stone, a crude spiral inside of an open mouth. After 3 weeks of transcribing what he called the pre-human lexicon, Roarke's journal entries became erratic. He wrote in strange looping glyphs, replaced letters with shapes, and began recording hours of himself repeating nonsense syllables. The final entry read in Dr. Roarke's journal stated, "They want through. My tongue is the key." His body was discovered seated upright, mouth agape, fungal stalks erupting from between his ribs. His tongue had calcified into a spiral spore tower. Welcome to the Pathogen Dossier, a record of rare, misunderstood, and emergent biological threats. Every infection has a vector. Every symptom has a cause. This is where we document the science behind the strange, one case at a time. Let's open up the Roarke Bloom dossier. While exploring the whispering vaults, Roarke likely disturbed ancient fungal colonies preserved in dry, insulated stone fissures. The pathogen entered his body through the mouth and nose by means of airborne spores, drawn across many hours spent obsessing over glyphs. The unique acoustic qualities of the caverns may have triggered spore germination in the tongue and in the mouth, throat, and nasal cavity, suggesting that vocal activity itself is a vector for activation. Symptoms manifest subtly. Auditory hallucinations described as wet whispering, compulsive vocal repetition of strange and unknown sounds, insomnia and a loss of appetite, tongue and throat pain paired with increasing voice distortions. In the final phase, hyphal growth along the spine and vocal tract, severe delusion and echolalia, that is, speaking in tongues, formation of internal fungal structures replacing portions of the brainstem and bronchus area. Death was caused by respiratory paralysis and cerebral necrosis. As the fungus overtook essential neural tissues, post-mortem autopsy showed the tongue ossified and hollowed into a stone spore tower that protruded from the mouth. What we now call Linguamyces sapiens thrives in low humidity, sonically reflective cave systems rich in basalt and quartz. It is likely co-evolved in environments shaped by tectonic and sound resonance. Rather than simply spreading by physical contact, the fungus may enter a form of dormancy until awakened by specific vocal frequencies, mimicking an acoustic life cycle trigger. It is believed that the fungus uses host vocalizations to communicate or reproduce, treating language itself as a biological vector. The spore structure is echo-reactive, meaning it germinates in response to repeated sound vibrations. Growth patterns begin in the sinuses and lungs, then migrate towards the brain and vocal cords. The neurofungal interface with the brain causes synaptic mimicry. This takes over speech processing centers and implants pseudo-linguistic reflexes, causing outbursts of strange sounds in the infected. Hosts eventually develop involuntary speech that mirrors ancestral fungal propagation chants, causing the release of new spores into the surrounding area. Inhaled dormant spores are activated by sound. Infectivity is at a minimum risk until activated by repeated vocalizations. Neurolinguistic hijacking causes compulsory speaking known as carrier phrases. These phrases may act as a mimetic spore activator, which set off infection within the host. Mortality rate is near 100%, unless removed during the early nasal passage colonization stage. When dealing with Linguamyces sapiens, there should be no speaking in contaminated zones. All communications must be non-verbal. Sound-canceling helmets and respirators are required when working with specimens. Infected individuals are to be sedated and intubated to prevent mimetic transmission and activation of nearby spores. Burn all written and audio material generated by the infected, as to not cause a snowballing effect in victims. Do not attempt to decode or replicate spoken samples. It may result in fungal activation. I'm Archivist Nixon. Every human should remember language is a living thing. It spreads. It mutates. It finds hosts. If you hear something echoing where no voice should be, do not listen. Do not repeat what it says. And pray it doesn't speak back.